Next, find out how the modern-day tomato originated in central Ohio.
Then, a community gathers around tractors and steam threshers.
And later, old barns are crafted into new structures.
Support for Columbus Neighborhoods is provided by American Electric Power is proud to sponsor WOSU Public Media Columbus Neighborhoods. Working together with our communities, we're committed to powering a bright, boundless future for us all.
At Ohio Health, we believe it's important to have a healthy understanding of the world around you. That's why we're proud sponsors of WOSU Public Media and their work to educate, entertain, and inspire the people we serve.
Bailey Cavalieri, your relationship with your law firm doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be right. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
We're taking a break from the hustle and bustle of city life this week in order to slow down and focus on some of our unique rural communities. Javier, did you know the modern tomato has roots right here in central Ohio?
I know that, but now you've planted a seed of curiosity.
Well, guess what? I'll leave you with that curiosity while we head to Reynoldsburg for this next story.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Barth.
Well, hi there. How are you?
Hi, it's good to be here.
Hi, Brent. How are you today?
Doing great. Now, I know we're going to talk about Alexander Livingston, but here's my question. How come it's Reynoldsburg and not Livingstonburg?
Well,
That doesn't sound quite as nice, does it? I don't know about
yeah.
that ring.
It must be that James C. Reynolds that came from Zanesville. When the National Road came through in 1830, he came from Zanesville. We hooked up to Zanesville, so he came out here, and he was a postmaster. He was a brigadier general.
We were almost named after a gentleman by the name of John French.
Yes.
We were almost called Frenchtown. And when James Reynolds came, the community really embraced him and accepted him and determined that the name of this community should be named after James Reynolds, and we are now Reynoldsburg.
Okay. Where did the first settlers come from?
They originally came from Scotland. They were being persecuted, so they came over to this continent and landed in Truro, Nova Scotia. That's why the township is named Truro Township. Congress allotted the refugee tract to the Nova Scotia refugees, and only one of them really came and settled. James Crawford, wasn't he the only one? Everybody else sold their land.
Mary, one of the early settling families was the Livingston family.
They came in, I think it was 1815 they came, and they built a house up on Wagner Road. Alexander was born in 1821.
And now he's forever famous because he's associated with the tomato.
The original tomato was small. The plants had irregular sizes. They were hollow. They're kind of like a green pepper, a watery green pepper.
As a young child, he found tomatoes out in the wild and took them home to his mother, and she very quickly said, "Oh no, don't eat those, those are poisonous." And then as he grew up into his later life, he cultivated the first edible commercial variety called the Paragon tomato. That was his first tomato.
So how did he go about developing this variety? Did he have formal training as a scientist?
He didn't have any training. It was a lot of experiment.
Yeah, he had a field of tomatoes, and he thought, well, I'll pick the best tomato off of each plant. So he'd go to each plant and pick one tomato. Then he'd save the seeds, and the next year he grew those. Well, then he got the same thing because the genes were in the stalk of the plant or in the plant itself. So he said, I'll do it another way. So he went and picked the best looking plant, and he grew a field of those, and they came out really good. And then he took the best out of that crop, and the next year he planted that. Took him, what, 20 years?
Oh, it was a long
time to get
painstaking
to
process.
the Paragon, because every year he would take the best plant and plant it again until he got what he wanted.
And that was his kind of eureka moment to concentrate on the plant rather than just the seed, right?
Right.
So he has this successful tomato, and he starts selling them, and he organizes a seed company that bears his name. Is that right?
Correct. This house had a building that got blown down in a storm where they packaged some of this seeds and things like that.
Alexander Livingston Seed Company is still in existence, and his picture is on those packets still to this day.
Well, his company takes off, but actually, tomatoes take off everywhere, right? I mean, people are growing them, and there's all sorts of companies selling the seeds. But he visits all these fairs to collect different varieties and that sort of thing, right?
He wanted to develop a gold tomato, a yellow tomato, a purple tomato. He would go to the state fairs where they displayed their best tomatoes and talk to the growers.
Let's take a minute and just describe some of the items you brought here.
The seed box that would have had the different varieties of seeds, and someone would go to the, pick out their, whatever they were going to plant that year. You can see it goes back to 1876.
I love some of the names that he came up with.
Acme, the Acme, oh, the Golden Queen, I believe.
Yeah, he said it was fit for a king.
Yeah.
You're right, uh-huh.
Well, the catalog, that one there's dated 1888. There's a lot of original artwork in there, pen and ink, color. It had to be quite a job to make those catalogs. And this is a book of Livingston and the Tomato. I believe he wrote that. These are seed bags. There's a picture of one of the seed packets and a recipe. He wrote a lot of recipes.
And the tomato is still really important to Reynoldsburg.
That's correct. We actually have a festival every year. It's in the second week of August. We have people who grow their own tomatoes in this community, and we have everything from the smallest tomato all the way up to the largest tomato, and fun varieties and people that kind of create their own little creations to make something fun and interesting.
Well, it's a fascinating life, and thanks for sharing us the details of Mr. Livingston in Reynoldsburg.
He was an amazing man, and one other thing I always love to share about Alexander Livingston and one of Reynoldsburg's histories is Alexander Livingston was a big proponent of the Underground Railroad. He served a lot of people trying to get them safely through communities, and he would use his wagon called the Ark to transport slaves to get out of Reynoldsburg to the next safe spot in the Underground Railroad. So Reynoldsburg's got a fascinating history, and Alexander Livingston takes a big role in it.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you for coming.
Next, a community gathers around tractors and steam threshers.
Then old barns are crafted into new structures.
Some of our small rural communities have the most interesting festivals and celebrations, like the Coshocton Sunflower Festival or the Milan Melon Festival.
And of course, you've heard of the Circleville Pumpkin Show.
Oh yeah.
But what about the Miami Valley Steam Thresher Show?
Okay. All right.
This annual gathering in Plain City is as straightforward as its name, a celebration around tractors and steam threshers.
This is Steam and Gas Association. It was started over in the Miami County just outside of Troy in 1949, and this is our 70th year. It started out on a farm, a gentleman's farm just outside of Troy, Ohio. Everybody had their old steam-powered equipment that was sitting in the barn, and they decided to get out and just play with it one summer, and that created the Miami Valley Steam Threshers Association.
We're just running antique equipment like they did back in the old days, just to show the young people actually what goes on. Mainly it's just a big hobby.
Many steam engines here. There's 20 or 25 steam engines, about 300 tractors on the ground.
This is our steam roller that we have. For a surprise, I went and bought it for my dad. It's a 1925. It was actually built in Ohio in Springfield. Got it off of the Rose Brothers down there in Asheville, Rose Brothers Paving. You need to roll asphalt was what this one was set up for. So I just bring it around, and whenever the traction engines tear up the ground, I just go and level the ruts out and make the ground smooth again.
This is a 1912 Baker steam engine. Many of you have probably been familiar with steam locomotives. Some of them were famous for pulling trains. Steam engines were also used for powering factories and even working on farms. Let's say you want to bale hay. This was your primary source of power. What we're looking at here is the flywheel. Now, how do we get the flywheel to move? How do we run the steam engine? You need two things. You need water and coal or wood or some type of oil. Here we mainly burn coal on this steam traction engine. This is the back end of the boiler, known as the bulkhead of the boiler. Below we have what's called the firebox. When the fireman or the person responsible for stoking the boiler puts up fire into that firebox, that's going to heat up the water in this boiler. It goes through these tubes up through the smoke box. The smoke then dissipates up through the smokestack. Now we have a thing here that's called the steam dome. Now the engineer, when he pulls on that throttle, that steam is going to go up through the steam dome, through this piston, down to the drive wheel, and similar to a steam locomotive. It uses so much pressure as if it were a powerful steam kettle that steam's going to go back and forth, boom, 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 making the motion and making the engine go. Now, steam traction engines, in addition to pulling cars or wagons, you could also be used to run, let's say you want to run a sawmill, or let's say you want to use it to run a hay bale, or basically an ash crop machine like you see here. And then these would be used to run conveyor belt lines like what you see in factories from the turn of the century. But you have to stand way back from it because that thing is so powerful that injuries could be involved if there's no care and safety. The best part about it for me is getting to shovel coal, running the boiler, and blowing the whistle and the throttle.
We try to restore the past to educate the future is our goal. So all the young people need to come in and get interested in this so they'll know what their ancestors done in the past to make a living and to feed the world.
People just look at it as a piece of junk iron, scrap it. And then you got all the old folks on the equipment, and when they die off, there ain't too many young people around.
So what do we have to do to get people excited about these?
Get them off video games.
Seeing the people year after year is what I like. It's a reunion. Reunion is actually in our official name, so it is a reunion annually.
Next, old barns are crafted into new structures.
Then, Curious Sea Bus weighs in on whether old Indian trails and wagon trails were the sources of some of Ohio's highways.
We're standing inside the Wells Barn at Franklin Park, and can you believe the wooden frame here is made of timbers that are over 200 years old?
Wow, and I'd say it's aged pretty well.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. And the company that constructed it is finding a new purpose for historic barns found throughout Ohio's countryside.
I was aware that these great old 19th century timber frame barns were going away very quickly. I just felt called to leave my law profession of 30 years to go and save as many of these barns as I could. Ohio had the best barns ever created in the history of the world because our first growth timber, the oak, the chestnut, the beech, this is a really great example of a probably 1840 to 1860 hand-hewn timber frame. It's made out of mostly oak. The trees were cut down by hand. You can see the axe marks. where they were hewed with broad axes to square them up. The timbers are joined together with mortise and tenon and then held with a wooden peg. These were erected by hand with simple tools and a lot of manpower. The double tie beams are a beautiful feature. That was just extra work, but gives this barn the strength it needs. It's very large for a hand-hewn timber frame. And we'll come in and we'll take all of the wood off of the timber frame, and then we will tag every one of these timbers, and we'll do measured drawings and then indicate on the drawing which timber goes where, so that when we take it apart and it's just a big pile of timbers, we'll be able to pick those up and look at the tag and look at the drawing and figure out where those go. Because when we put it back up, we want it to look exactly like it does now. Any wood that's worth salvaging that we can get out without breaking it, we'll find a use for it. Look at that board. That's got to be 14 inches wide. That would make a great tabletop. The upper part of the barn is called the upper carriage, and this is the lower carriage. This was a bank barn. It's built into the side of a hill, and the lower level was to keep the livestock, and that's why the ceiling's not so high. But the biggest, hugest timbers are always down in the lower level of these bank barns, and this is one of the more magnificent undercarriages that I've ever seen. This is a carrier beam here. It's 12 by 12 white oak, and it's supporting 70 of these huge sleepers. These are over 40 feet long, and they're just hewed on two sides, but these are magnificent trees. We get these great old barns that are really obsolete for modern farming. You don't store hay in them anymore, you don't thresh wheat in them, and most of the big farm machinery is too big to fit in them. So to make them last, they have to be relevant for the 21st century. So we turn most of these into homes or party barns or public event spaces. And to do that, we have to turn them into conditioned space. We'll have to put the timber frame up and basically build a house around it. This is a barn that we moved and reconstructed on our property. It's a bank barn built probably 1810, 1820. This is the lower level. This is where the livestock would have originally resided. We actually raised the height of the ceiling to give us more room. Typically, the lower level of a bank barn is going to be about 7 feet of headroom, and this is about 9. We get salvage from around Ohio. That's a neat old sink that came out of a school up in Cleveland. That soapstone top on the island came out of a high school science classroom up in Cleveland. We made the cabinets in our cabinet shop. Here's a bathroom that we put in, and it has a reclaimed chestnut vanity. Why don't we go upstairs and I'll show you the really neat part of this barn. So welcome to our party barn. It's got massive 12 by 12 inch posts and beams. It's insulated on the outside of what you see. These floorboards actually were joists that came out of the St. Mary's School down in German Village. This is a really great smaller barn. It's about 30 by 30. This was originally up near Genoa, near Lake Erie, and we brought it down to Central Ohio and re-erected it and turned it into this really cool house. We added some reclaimed elements. This is an old steel cart. It was probably from a factory up in Cleveland, and we made it into a kitchen island. The stone fireplace is probably the most imposing feature in the room. It's about 25 feet tall, and it has a hand-hewn timber mantle. These are magnificent works of art. They're handmade sculptures. I think it's a lesson in self-reliance that we need to be reminded of. I think it's also a lesson in community. One person, one family couldn't have built this. And I think in this incredibly divisive time, in our country's history, we're well served to remember that we worked together at one time to build this barn, to build this country.
Curious Sea Bus is WOSU's project where you submit your questions about our region, its people, or its history, and we assign a reporter or producer to investigate it. Today's question comes from Karen Wolford. She wants to know if the highways we drive in Ohio today follow the same path as Native American trails and wagon trails from centuries ago. The short answer is yes. Many of Ohio's major roadways lie on Native American trails that were later used by white settlers. Renowned Ohio archaeologist William Mills stated the fact plainly. In 1914, he wrote, "The importance of the Aboriginal trails of Ohio to the settlement and development of the state can hardly be overestimated." Before Europeans arrived, many Native American trails crisscrossed the state, but one particularly significant trail cut a north-south path directly through the heart of present-day Columbus. Much of what we call U.S. Route 23 was once known as the Scioto Trail. It was the great highway of the Shawnee tribe. From the fishing waters of Sandusky Bay, it led south along the Scioto River to present-day Portsmouth. From there, crossing the Ohio River gave access to the hunting grounds of Kentucky. There, it connected with another Native American trail known as the Warrior's Path, and together they were among the most traveled routes of the pioneer days. After the Revolutionary War, white settlers used the trail to travel north from Portsmouth. Over the next few decades, many cities we know and love were founded along the trail: Chillicothe, Circleville, Columbus, and Delaware. In the 1820s, Colonel James Kilbourne, the founder of Worthington and a representative in the General Assembly, lobbied heavily for a proper road to connect Columbus to Lake Erie. The 106-mile-long Columbus and Sandusky Turnpike was opened for business in 1834. People who paid a toll might have expected a well-made gravel road, but too often it was nothing but mud. In protest, disgruntled travelers reportedly destroyed the toll gates on more than one occasion. Learning from those mistakes, the southbound Columbus and Portsmouth Turnpike was made of gravel construction in 1847. In the early 1900s, as automobiles became more and more popular, Ohio invested in its highway system, paving roads and adding clearly marked lanes. In 1926, the road was incorporated into the United States numbered highway system and became U.S. Route 23. At that time, drivers could zoom up and down the state at 35 miles per hour without breaking the speed limit. So today, when you drive on Route 23, you're traveling on a road almost identical to the Scioto Trail, a path blazed by the Native Americans centuries ago. Do you have a question for Curious Sea Bus? Head over to wosu.org/curious to submit your idea, vote on which question we should investigate next, and see what we've covered so far.
Thanks for being with us, and remember you can catch all our episodes on columbusneighborhoods.org.
Plus, see our stories on the WOSU mobile app, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We'll see you back here next week on Columbus Neighborhoods.
County Road 62. We're all here waiting for you, so pull up a chair and sit and chat for a while. And don't you worry about nothing, it don't matter anyhow. Here on County Road 62, we're friends and neighbors, lovers too. We've got everything in common now and nothing left to lose. You can act like the kid your kids never knew. And you can spread out a blanket, have a picnic in the yard. And you can dance by the moon till the morning takes the stars. Here on 62. We welcome you. We welcome you. County Road 62. Well, some will come and they'll visit you. They'll put flowers on your head and bow their own to pray. And they'll always shed a tear before they drive away. Oh, on County Road 62. Well, someday they'll be like you, but they're biting for their time to while away. But we're always open, yeah, we're always here.
Support for Columbus Neighborhoods is provided by American Electric Power is proud to sponsor WOSU Public Media Columbus Neighborhoods. Working together with our communities, we're committed to powering a bright, boundless future for us all.
At Ohio Health, we believe it's important to have a healthy understanding of the world around you. That's why we're proud sponsors of WOSU Public Media and their work to educate, entertain, and inspire the people we serve.
Bailey Cavalieri, your relationship with your law firm doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be right. And by viewers like you. Thank you.